and welcome to Live at 4 as we begin another week. Hope you all had a good weekend. Yourself, Susan?
Pretty quiet. Yeah. every Monday you say, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Well, nothing.
I changed the filter on the humidifier.
Oh, that's exciting.
Exciting, yeah. We'll get to a lot of stuff today, but first let's start with the news on this Monday. A Baraboo County judge has reinstated an emergency order from Governor Evers' administration despite a lawsuit from the Wisconsin Tavern League.
As federal lawmakers try to come to an agreement on another stimulus package, governments are feeling the strain.
And a group is asking Governor Evers to release more inmates from state prisons as COVID-19 cases jump in correctional facilities. Let's take a look outside on this dreary Monday. He's all bundled up. It's kind of chilly out there. In fact, it feels like November. Dana Fulton's in the backyard. Is it going to warm up?
Likely not anytime soon. Hopefully, we can see a little bit of sunshine sometime this week, but overall the temperature trend is quite chilly, and it does feel like we've kind of advanced a little bit in our fall timeline with this temperature trend. Now, our Doppler track has shown the cloud coverage with some small snowflakes swirling around, much of that not reaching the ground, though. As you can see, as we take a little better look with our high-resolution radar, could see a few light drizzle spots. There's going to be a slight chance for maybe a quick flurry this evening, but nothing that's really going to stick for us. Still very, very cloudy as we look at downtown. Again, not expecting to see much sunshine nor a big warm up. Our temperatures in the mid-30s. We should be a little closer to 60 right now for our afternoon highs. 36 in Madison, about 34 in Monroe, and 30 in the Dells. Make sure you bundle up if you do have to head out at all this evening. We do have those slight chances for a few isolated showers over the next few hours. Otherwise, our temperature trend staying in the 30s this evening with overnight lows back to the 20s. As far as the roads are concerned right now, overall, the Beltline looks good. So does the interstate through Rock County. From Janesville to the Beltline, 26 minutes, 17 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown, about 9 minutes this evening. We'll take a closer look at that cloudy and cool 10-day in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Dana. First at 4, the capacity limit at gathering spots across Wisconsin is back in place.
A judge in Barron County reimposed the governor's order today. Eric Franke has the latest on this judicial back and forth. Eric?
That's right, Susan. Something we're getting used to in Wisconsin. A quick timeline here. Back on October 6th, in the face of those rising COVID numbers, the governor ordered bars, restaurants, and other indoor places to limit to 25% capacity. Then the Tavern League sued in Sawyer County, where a judge blocked it with a temporary restraining order. Today, Barron County Judge James Babler put those limits back in place and declined a request from the Tavern League to keep the capacity limit on hold while the lawsuit was pending. He also declined to stay the ruling in the event of an appeal.
This court finds that there's no showing that a temporary injunction is necessary to preserve the status quo. There is nothing in the affidavits to show that any of the plaintiffs have complied with the order, that complying with the order has somehow harmed them.
The Tavern League's argument was that the governor and the DHS needed to work with the legislature to approve an emergency rule using a Supreme Court ruling back in May undoing the Safer at Home order to make its case. The Tavern League expressed its disappointment in a post on its Facebook page, but did not indicate an appeal at this time, saying that the order would remain in effect until November 6th. The governor called it a critically important ruling, calling the crisis urgent, reminding people to take precautions like limiting travel and gatherings and to wear their face coverings. Susan?
Eric, thank you. You will see larger numbers of new COVID-19 cases in Wisconsin this week, but that doesn't necessarily mean the spread of the virus has dramatically increased. Over the weekend, the state's tracking system was updated, which prevented new cases from being announced. During the pause in case reporting, more than 6,600 people received notice that they were positive for COVID-19. On Friday night, the state surpassed more than 4,000 new daily cases for the first time ever. Since the beginning of the pandemic, more than 174,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Wisconsin. More than 1,600 people have lost their lives.
Area high school sports this winter will look a lot different. The Big 8 Conference has canceled all winter sports. That includes all public high schools in Madison, Janesville, Beloit, Verona, Middleton, and Sun Prairie. Officials will provide more information after a meeting on November 4th.
More students will have to go to school virtually for the next few weeks as more coronavirus cases come about. Just this afternoon, officials at Jefferson Elementary School in Janesville announced that they're pivoting to online instruction. They say due to the number of staff being quarantined, they are unable to continue in-person classes. Students will go to school online until October 30th. A high number of new COVID-19 cases has students in New Glarus going to class online as well. Students will attend virtual classes until at least Friday, October 30th. New Glarus district officials say they're making the switch because of an increase in cases over the weekend. Lunches will be delivered to students in need starting tomorrow.
The number of coronavirus cases worldwide has now reached 40 million. Nationwide, the number of daily new coronavirus cases has surged to its highest level since the summer, and hospitalizations are up in at least 30 states. In Chicago, as restaurants set up outdoor plastic bubbles for diners, city officials sounded the alarm on a second wave.
As we head into the fall and winter months, it is the worst possible time to let our guard down, and it's coinciding with a worrying increase in hospitalizations.
In Brooklyn, New York, a planned wedding was originally expected to draw thousands of guests until officials concerned about a super spreader event stepped in. Representatives now say the Monday night wedding of a prominent member of the Hasidic community will only be open to close family members. And while researchers continue working on a vaccine, a new poll shows the percentage of Americans who say they will likely get it as soon as it's available has dropped more than 10 points since August.
Economic stimulus negotiations have resumed today on Capitol Hill after months without an agreement. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says if there is no deal by tomorrow, it won't happen before Election Day. Speaker Pelosi says she and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin are still haggling over numbers and the fine print.
They said they changed shall to may, requirements to recommendations, a plan to a strategy, not a strategic plan. They took out 55% of the language that we had there for testing and tracing.
In a letter to colleagues, Pelosi said the two sides were also still at odds over tax credits for working people with lower income and funding for state and local governments. There aren't any signs that Congress will pass a new stimulus package before the end of the year.
That has local governments running low on federal aid or out of it completely. Amanda Quintana has more on where Dane County is in terms of spending. Amanda?
Dane County received $95 million in CARES Act funding. Part of the deal is that it has to be spent before the end of the year, and they are on track for that. Dane County has put $1 million each month towards a partnership with Second Harvest. It spent $25 million on hotels for those experiencing homelessness and $3.5 million in grants for hundreds of child care providers. But even when this money runs out in December, there will still be a need.
We need the federal government to come up and help us at least one more time, or we're going to have more businesses like losing their leases and having to go out of business, more people losing their jobs. Right now, there's a temporary moratorium on evictions, but that moratorium, when that's up, people are still going to hold those back dollars.
Dane County also bought masks for the community, PPE for first responders, and funded remote testing sites in low-income neighborhoods, things it looks like we'll need well into the new year.
That was Amanda Quintana reporting. At 5, Amanda will have more from Dane Buy Local. The $10.8 million it helped distribute to small businesses is gone, and a lot of businesses missed out on that funding, and now they're hoping for another round.
COVID-19 cases in Wisconsin's prisons has shot up dramatically over the past few months. Right now, 734 people serving time in a state correctional facility are fighting the virus. The Milwaukee-based organization Wisdom held a sit-in this morning outside the governor's mansion. They're asking Governor Tony Evers to release people from prison during the pandemic. They say the governor should use his power to release people with low risk to public safety from state prisons.
None of these people have been sentenced to death. We don't have the death penalty in Wisconsin.
The group has been asking Governor Evers since the beginning of the pandemic to work with them on this issue. Since March, the Department of Corrections has released more than 1,600 inmates.
A day before in-person absentee voting begins in Wisconsin, election officials say hundreds of thousands of absentee ballots have already been returned to election clerks. Of the 1.4 million ballots requested so far, more than 863,000 of them have been returned. That's nearly 29% of the total votes in 2016's general election. More than 140,000 ballots have already been returned to Dane County clerks. Even more have been returned in Milwaukee County.
The city of Madison is encouraging voters to return their absentee ballots today. We are 15 days away from the election, and the Madison City Clerk and Madison Mayor are encouraging voters to mail in their absentee ballots on Mail It Back Monday. On Friday, the city installed 14 ballot boxes across Madison. Since Friday, more than 1,100 voters have used the drop boxes to return their ballots.
To date, over 100,000 absentee ballots have been issued in the city of Madison. Over 70,000 of those ballots have been returned, and that includes over 1,000 from our safe voting drop boxes.
November 1st, you can cast your ballot at the clerk's office along with city libraries, and there are multiple tents on UW-Madison, Edgewood College, and Madison College campuses.
More than 28 million Americans reportedly have already cast their ballots in this election. Over the past week, we've seen massive early voting lines in multiple states, and that's part of what's expected to be a record turnout. Nearly 2.5 million people have already cast their votes by mail in Florida. And that's already come close to surpassing the number from the entire 2016 election. But it's not only Florida. Turnout is shattering records across the country. According to some estimates, voters have cast more than 6 times the amount of ballots compared to the same time period 4 years ago. David Becker is the executive director of the Center for Election Innovation and Research.
Does the president casting doubt on the integrity of mail-in ballots, do you think that's had some Republicans say, let's wait until we can do it in person?
The president's false claims about mail voting and questions about the integrity of mail voting have made only his own voters doubt that very important option.
Both campaigns have spent close to a combined $158 million on advertising in Florida, with more on the way.
With just 15 days to go until Election Day, President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are hitting the campaign trail on opposite sides of the country. Meanwhile, the Democratic vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, is focused on Florida. Skylar Henry is at the White House with more.
President Trump is in central and southern Arizona for 2 campaign rallies.
There's never been anything like it. We have a tremendous crowd.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows the 2020 Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, slightly ahead in the Copper State. During a Monday morning call with campaign staffers, the president slammed Dr. Anthony Fauci, a day after he appeared on CBS 60 Minutes.
Has the White House been controlling when you can speak with the media?
You know, I think you'd have to be honest to say yes.
People are tired of hearing Fauci and all these idiots, these people that have gotten it wrong. Every time he goes on television, there's always a bomb, but there's a bigger bomb if you fire him.
During the call, the president expressed optimism that he'll win the 2020 election and disputed published reports that he doesn't get along with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris made multiple campaign stops in Florida, where early in-person voting is now underway.
We know we need a change, and a change is coming.
We made America great again.
Meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence hit the campaign trail in Maine and Pennsylvania. Other than a quick trip across town in Wilmington, Delaware, Biden is taking his time to prepare for Thursday's debate. Former President Barack Obama will make his first in-person campaign appearance for Biden in Philadelphia this Wednesday. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And Thursday's debate between President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden is expected to follow a similar format as the first presidential debate. Topics for that final debate include the coronavirus, race relations, national security, and climate change. Well, still to come at 4, you can learn a lot by touring a cemetery.
We'll do just that when Live at 4 continues and tell you how you can take a tour yourself. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Great day on the lake.
It is.
Lunch is cooking. And I saved a bunch of money on my boat insurance with Geico.
Are you?
Fellas, can it get any better than this? Whoa. My old hairstyle grew back.
So did mine.
What? I was an 80s kid.
It only gets better when you switch and save with Geico.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto is a heart failure medicine prescribed by most cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. And with a healthier heart, there's no telling where life may take you. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or allospirin, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. And trust your heart to Entresto.
The beat goes on.
Services, save up to $2,500 on a new Lennox system. But hurry, it's a limited time offer and a beautiful thing.
How do I use better than bouillon? I just add a spoonful to my marinades. To stir fries? Sauces? Just whisk it in. Brush it on? Sauté. It adds a cooked all day taste. That doesn't take all day.
Better than bouillon. Don't just make it better.
Why Cedar? Because when I get home, we like to play crocodile on the floor.
Promis Max's pad removes over 99% of bacteria with just water. Better cleaning with less waste. Cedar, it feels great to feel at home.
We all know that we must fix our criminal justice system. Here is Joe Biden's plan to reform it. Ending mandatory minimum sentences, ending private prisons, and end cash bail. A real plan for real change.
I believe my criminal justice reform package is as strong or stronger than anyone else, that anyone has proposed.
We will create a system that's fair and just.
And we can get there together.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. Well, as you know, many people have been forced to work from home now because of the pandemic.
Some have opted to take over a bedroom or a dining room table to set up their home office. Miguel Blas is getting a new addition to his backyard. Miguel has been working from home since March because of the pandemic. He needed more space. The solution, a backyard office. The company Boss Homes says sales are up 35%. There's a growing demand nationwide with so many Americans working remotely. Companies that specialize in tiny homes and she sheds are now shifting to backyard offices.
This combines a small space with the big feel.
The homes vary in size and can be customized to include a kitchen and bathroom. The structure is shipped as a do-it-yourself kit, complete with instructions, and can be built in 3 days. Not in my backyard, it would be. Wall Street slumps today on the fading pre-election stimulus hopes. The Dow Industrials fell 410 points, closing at 28,195. The NASDAQ dropped 192, and the S&P 500 was off 56. Well, cemetery tours are more than just for Halloween. They're fascinating places of folklore and history.
The Rock County Historical Society is offering 2 different guided tours focusing on trailblazing women and cemetery folklore this month as part of its Chill at Oak Hill Cemetery Tours program. Timothy Maas is the executive director of the Rock County Historical Society. Hi, Tim. Welcome to Live at 4.
Welcome.
Well, hello.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about these tours.
So the tours they're an hour in length, and they talk a lot about the history of the cemeteries. This is the oldest cemetery remaining in the community, and just brings people through. People are really fascinated about those who came before us and the different customs and achievements that people have made over time.
What kind of other things can you learn from taking a cemetery tour?
So, for example, with the burials and folklore tour this year, we're teaching about like when undertaking became a thing, why the cemeteries started becoming on the outskirts of communities and whatnot. So it's even more than just about the people who are buried there.
I've often wondered that.
Yeah, there's fascinating stories in a cemetery, always. You're taking 2 different guided tours, the folklore and the role of the cemetery that you just mentioned. And then the second one is the Women of Oak Hill. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so we actually started this one a little bit last year in honor of the anniversary of the 19th Amendment, and it was so popular that we wanted to bring it back again this year. So we talk about people from Janesville that were just absolute trailblazers in their time. The first female lawyer was actually from Janesville, and while she started being buried there, she's now buried in Kentucky. And then another famous person from Janesville was Carrie Jacobs Bond. She was a famous songwriter who wrote the song "I Love You Truly."
Really?
So there's many different female accomplishments in there.
We're looking at pictures from last year. It's a big group. Nobody has masks on. That's not going to be the case this year.
Absolutely not. So groups are limited to 20 people. Masks are required as well as social distancing. So we have to talk very loud.
So you have to register ahead of time. And how often are you doing the tours?
Wednesdays through Saturday. All tours begin at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 through October 31st.
You know, cemeteries can be kind of a scary place as well. Did you try to debunk that or not?
Yeah, so the tours are definitely not sensational. And our average crowd is actually an older group of people. They just are really fascinated by it. So we do still get some young folks in as well, but it's not, we do them during the daytime, so they certainly aren't scary. In the past, we've done them at night, but we do lanterns and just make sure it's very safe. But it is not a haunted tour, and it's not sensational in any way.
It's an historical tour.
Yeah, and it's to learn, right. You learn so much about the people in our community, too, and so many stories. It really, It sounds fascinating.
It does.
Yeah, we really try. Part of our mission is to really make people proud to be part of this community, and this is just another way of doing that.
Find out something you didn't know. All right, Tim, thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you have a good crowd. The Rock County Historical Society Oak Hill Cemetery Tour runs Wednesday through Saturdays until Halloween. An appointment is required to schedule a tour. Call 608-756-4509 or do it online at rchs.us. Still to come at 4, some of the best photographers in the world competed for the title of Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
We'll see some of the entries, including the winning photograph, coming up after Dana's First Warn forecast.
Introducing the Fall Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Safely tour a vast array of expertly crafted homes from top builders across the area. Meet the builders, discover new design trends. Visit MadisonParadeOfHomes.com for more information.
The pandemic is spreading, and people with pre-existing health conditions are most at risk. But Donald Trump is still trying to repeal protections for people with pre-existing conditions. Joe Biden took on the insurance companies and forced them to cover pre-existing conditions. As president, he'll give Americans the choice to buy public health insurance like Medicare and bring down costs by negotiating with hospitals and drug companies. Joe has a plan. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
Here's to the doers, to realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. And don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma? Talk to your asthma specialist about Dupixent. If your financial situation has changed, we may be able to help.
We aren't radical, so why would we want one representing us in Madison? Chris Marion is an extreme partisan liberal who's just fine with calling political opponents Nazis, dictators, and enemies. And Chris Marion wants to take more of your paycheck, too. Marion supports eliminating levy limits, causing property taxes to skyrocket, crushing families as they try to recover. And Marion backs the radical Green New Deal that will cost trillions, destroy jobs, and increase taxes. Chris Marion, just too radical.
Here's what you need to know. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone making under $400,000. Biden will get rid of Trump's tax giveaways for the super wealthy and make big corporations finally pay their fair share. Biden will use those savings to help working families and seniors, investing in lowering healthcare costs, improving education, and protecting Social Security and Medicare. Biden's plan. Corporations pay more. You benefit.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Introducing the Fall Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Safely tour a vast array of expertly crafted homes from top builders across the area. Meet the builders, discover new design trends. Visit MadisonParadeOfHomes.com for more information.
Take a look at this. An upstate New York homeowner held nothing back when it came to Halloween decorations, and he's going viral for his troubles. Retired toy maker David Mumaw put his skills on display with a spectacular setup, the crown jewel of which is a giant crawling spider on a moving crane. Mumaw's handiwork is going viral. He's featured on Good Morning America, and local TikTok videos featuring the display have combined for more than 9 million views. Mumaw says 2020 was definitely the year to do this.
Definitely,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
People can drive by and see it. That is so cool. Wow, that really, I need to pick up my game.
I was going to say, Susan, you got decorations,
with my decorations, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
They're not that cool.
That's pretty great.
Oh, that's really neat.
Well, it's kind of spooky weather out there.
It is. It's spooky outside. We feel a little cool right now, a little bit ahead of schedule with these temperatures. Usually we see temps closer to the mid to upper 50s for afternoon highs this time of year, but we're currently in the 30s with cloudy skies. It's going to stay cool for tomorrow, but we do have a little warming trend for the week ahead. We'll look at your full 10-day right after the break.
We are the Thrivers, women with metastatic breast cancer. Our time for more time has come. Living longer is possible and proven in postmenopausal women taking Kisqali plus fulvestrant. In a clinical trial, Kisqali plus fulvestrant helped women live longer with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer, and it significantly delayed disease progression. Kisqali can cause lung problems or an abnormal heartbeat, which can lead to death. It can cause serious skin reactions, liver problems, and low white blood cell counts that may result in severe infections. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including breathing problems, cough, chest pain, a change in your heartbeat, dizziness, yellowing of the skin or eyes, dark urine, tiredness, loss of appetite, abdomen pain, bleeding, bruising, fever, chills, or other symptoms of an infection, a severe or worsening rash, are or plan to become pregnant or breastfeeding. Avoid grapefruit during treatment. Ask your doctor about living longer with Kisqali.
We took a bad economy that was falling and turned it around. Trump took a good economy and drove it back into the ditch. Through his failure to get COVID under control, his failure to deliver real relief to working people. Does he not understand and see the tens of millions of people who've had to file for unemployment this year so far? The people who lost wages while the cost of groceries have gone up dramatically? Donald Trump has been almost singularly focused on the stock market, the Dow and NASDAQ. Not you, not your families. My plan will help create at least 5 million new, good-paying jobs. styles and create them right here in the United States of America. Let's use this opportunity to take bold investments in American industry and innovation so the future is made in America. I'll be laser focused on working families. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renter's insurance. Become a member today. Get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It is cool outside right now. We started the day off in the 20s, and we are yet again going to fall into the 20s for our overnight lows. So overall, quite a chilly trend through the next 10 days, the week, the weekend, and into the following week. An active fall pattern where we're going to continue to see opportunities for showers to come through. Not a lot of accumulation, but a very drizzly pattern with a lot of cloud coverage along with that. And we will have a few days where we'll get closer to average. Some mild temperatures might pop up once or twice, but overall, the trend is chilly. The trend is overnight lows staying down quite a bit. Now, as we look at our Doppler track, it does look like we've had a few places that could have seen a few snowflakes swirling around, a few light flurries, but overall, much of that not reaching the ground. I was just on the backyard patio, and we didn't have anything falling, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do eke out a few little isolated drizzle spots or a few flurry spots for us throughout the rest of the evening. We have a mostly cloudy sky right now. Areas south of Dane County seem most likely to see a few of those light drizzle spots or light flurries over the next several hours, but overnight that chance comes to an end. We're mostly cloudy to start the day tomorrow with temperatures in the 20s early in the day for overnight lows, and then in the afternoon the chance for showers will develop again, mainly northwest of Dane County, but those showers will continue through the evening and overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. So we'll see a little bit of rain accumulation, again mainly north of Dane County. Cloud coverage sticks with us into Wednesday, but Wednesday might be a little more mild with those temperatures climbing up a bit more towards the middle of the week. Overall precipitation totals, though, with that rain chance coming throughout the day on Wednesday, likely going to see barely 1/10 of an inch for much of southern Wisconsin. Areas north could get closer to 1/2 of an inch. So anything that does come through is just going to be very misty and drizzly outside. We won't see any big heavy rainmakers moving overhead. And then the trend gets a little drier as we look in our long range outlook. Temperatures likely to stay below average for much of the country. Everyone's kind of cooling down for the end of the month and early November. Our dry trend, though, again covers much of the plains in the Midwest, as it's likely that we will be trending below average with our rain chances coming through. Tomorrow will be in the upper 40s for afternoon highs, a mostly cloudy sky and still chilly with a chance for those scattered showers to develop later in the afternoon and evening. That will watch and come from the west as it builds into our area. A slight chance on Wednesday, and then a better chance for showers and potentially isolated thunderstorms on Thursday. That's our mild day with highs climbing up into the upper 60s. Behind that system, though, we're expecting cooler weather to build right back on in, so we don't hold on to the mild trend for very long. Afternoon highs will be back in the 40s for the weekend and the following week, with overnight low temperatures in the 30s. So a cool trend expected as we head into the end of October and early November.
That'll be good weather to keep everybody hunkered down home and staying safe. And
yes, spend a little bit of time inside.
You did something else. You ordered some wipes this weekend.
I just know, just today.
That's right.
Disinfectant wipes for the newsroom.
That was also
good.
very productive.
That was
great.
It's nonstop.
Well, we're all just trying to stay safe. That's, you know.
That's absolutely.
Every little thing you can do.
Everything.
Right.
That's
Dana,
right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Some of the rarest creatures on the planet have been captured by some of the world's greatest photographers.
International awards for wildlife photography were just handed out in London, announced by the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, through Britain's National History Museum.
Roxana Saberi shows us some of the best.
A monkey meditating, a crocodile carrying hundreds of its offspring, and a squirrel scurrying away from two gazing owls. Intimate moments in nature captured for all of us to see.
This is my favorite category, animals in the environment.
Roz Kidman-Cox led the judging of this year's Wildlife Photographer of the Year Awards, choosing from nearly 50,000 entries from around the world.
They're complex pictures, and you can look at them again and again and see more.
Look closely. You'll see a hippo hiding in the mud and a lion peering through the grass. But these images, now on display at London's Natural History Museum and online, are meant to do more than make you stop and look. Science director Tim Littlewood says they're meant to make you stop and think.
They are a spectacular showcase to remind us that we are part of nature and we are desperately responsible for nature.
He says this theme of our impact on nature runs stronger this year than in the previous 5.5 decades of the competition. Take this image of a man slicing up bats in an Indonesian market.
We know that markets such as this are a hotbed for diseases such as COVID, viruses that are moving from animals to humans. And then there is destruction of the Amazon. Those two images, to me, are screaming both natural history and the human impact story.
Other photos tell a more subtle story, like this picture of puffins taken by 14-year-old Evie Easterbrook off the English coast.
I know that they're quite endangered because there are only certain areas with the amount of fish they need to eat.
You spend so much.
Matt Moran watched for wildlife closer to home in London.
All you want to be thinking about is composing and firing the shutter. This image really worked for me because you have that incredibly intense stare with this female looking at her younger brother saying, you know, there's no way you're going to get this rat.
Back off.
Yeah, totally.
Out of the 100 finalists, the Duchess of Cambridge Kate Middleton announced the winner in an online ceremony on Thursday night.
This year's Wildlife Photographer of the Year is Sergei Goshkov for his image, The Embrace.
What made this the winner?
Well, you can see, look at the colour, look at the light. It's a truly magical picture. It's a shot of a tiger, an Amur tiger from the Russian Far East. They've had big poaching problems, but with protection, the good news is that tigers are increasing.
The people behind these photos hope they move us to do much more to protect our beautiful planet.
Wake up, everybody. It's our home, our collective home.
By reminding us we're all in this together. For CBS This Morning Saturday, Roxana Saberi, London.
Spectacular work.
Oh, don't stop. We want to keep looking at them.
Gosh,
Yeah.
spectacular pictures. Well, there's more to come at 4 later on. Will Loper will tell us what to watch in this week's Loper Report.
And then coming up tonight at 5, hear how some area bar owners are responding to a judge's ruling on Governor Evers' health order. That's coming up at 5.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
Who's better for seniors? President Trump protected Social Security and Medicare. Joe Biden tried to cut them multiple times. President Trump lowered drug costs, and during his first term, Medicare Advantage premiums fell 34%. Under Biden, drug prices skyrocketed. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's far-left healthcare plan threatens private insurance and limits your choice in doctors. The clear choice, Donald Trump.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Hello. Oh. I wish to inquire about your free phone deal. Is there anything hidden I should be aware of?
No, sir.
No hidden plan requirements?
You choose your plan.
No hidden phone trade-ins?
Keep your phone.
No hidden activation fees or other trickery where video recorded evidence would be beneficial?
None.
Interesting.
Lovely scarf.
What camera?
Get the latest phones free with no hidden requirements. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to Fair.
Attic Angel Community has earned a reputation as the one and only. But what's so memorable to the people who live here?
It's good local heart. Interesting friends.
The view from my window.
Continuing education.
The food.
The amazing art studio.
Happy hour.
There are many reasons to love Attic Angel Community, but there's just one Attic Angel.
If you're at home thinking about your financial plan, so are we. Prudential helps 1 in 7 Americans with their financial needs. That's over 25 million people. With over 90 years of investment experience, our thousands of financial professionals can help with secure video chat or on the phone. We make it easy for you with online tools, e-signatures, and no medical exam life insurance. Plan for better days. Go to Prudential.com or talk to an advisor.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
Tonight at 5 with no end in sight for COVID-19 and no deal from Congress. Local governments are running out of funding. What Dane County says is still needed. That's at 5.
Our weather will mainly be cloudy and chilly this week with periodic chances for rain showers and a few flurries. Thursday will be the exception with milder weather. My forecast at 5.
And then at 6, another local school district shifts to online learning. And a judge has reinstated the governor's capacity limit order for Wisconsin businesses. The latest developments in the case at 6.
This is the Field of Dreams movie site in Iowa, the real one. You've been there, Mark.
Yeah, we did the show there. Beth Serbach and I, a generation ago.
Wow.
It was snowing there earlier. But
It's on my list. I've never seen it. That's pretty cool. Is it worth making the trip out there? Did you like it?
if you're a baseball fan or a movie fan,
Yeah.
they got the house there, and
Wow, that's kind of cool.
it's not that far away.
Well, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and black women face a greater risk of dying from breast cancer.
Tracy Tomer is often tired, but she's pushing on. The 53-year-old grandmother is being treated for stage 3 breast cancer. She discovered a lump in September of 2019. So for nearly 2.5 months, she put off having her first mammogram. Black women are often diagnosed with breast cancer at a more advanced stage. Dr. Vivian B. is a surgical oncologist at Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. She says disparity is seen for all socioeconomic backgrounds, so studying genetics and biology of breast cancer is critical.
Back in the day, we sort of attributed a lot to access to care, and certainly access to care plays a role. But we now know that there are many reasons and many causes, and a lot of research is underway to address those causes.
Doctors are concerned that the pandemic will widen the gap as many women are delaying screening. Black women also tend to be diagnosed with a very aggressive type of breast cancer called triple negative, which also has a worse prognosis. Well, we are 5 days away from Madison's More Than Pink Walk. After first moving the annual event from May to October, the Susan G. Komen organization ultimately decided to go virtual.
And they'll do that this Saturday when people across the state walk their own routes with a common goal: to support women who are currently fighting breast cancer. Our Christina Laurie shares the story of one woman who knows firsthand how important that is. And she's now paying it forward.
I had my last scans in this month of October, and they were stable again. Yay.
4 years into her battle with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer.
Stable Mabel. I am stable Mabel. Here I am.
Lori Nelson's fight had become rather routine.
You know, normally I take my husband with me, and I'm really anxious.
Monthly scans, daily pills, and then came COVID.
So I had to, go to those appointments without having the support of my family. But again, I trust the doctors that are taking care of me.
That trust came instinctively for Lori. By day, she's a nurse in the outpatient surgery wing of UW Hospital.
I guess I showed myself I could do just about anything by myself, because you have to.
But for women diagnosed today,
I've thought a lot about that. I can't even imagine.
Right now, no visitors are allowed in most parts of the hospital. No family members either. So it's Lori who's been watching out for women who've been newly diagnosed.
And I just try and, hold their hand and tell them they're in the right place and they've got the right people taking care of them.
And she really means that.
Remember that what they're having done today and they're terrified about is an everyday job for those surgeons.
Because trust?
You have to trust that you're in the right hands.
Positivity.
I've, learned to appreciate all of the little things.
Community.
you know, just kind words and conversations that and times I'm just cherishing.
And a good sense of humor.
Stable Mabel, here I am.
Can get you through anything.
Maybe that's what my shirt should say instead of living for Lori.
Those t-shirt plans are already in the works for Lori's 5th walk next year. But first, she's living in the moment, still raising money for this Saturday's event. Her team name is fittingly Livin' with Lori. You can still donate to Lori's team, another team, or even start your own team at colemanwisconsin.org. And join us Saturday morning as we kick off this year's More Than Pink virtual walk live on News 3 Now at 8 a.m.
Christina, Lori, thank you. A reminder, all of the money raised stays local and helps fund breast cancer treatment, child care, and transportation to and from treatments for Wisconsin women currently battling the disease.
This week is also a very good time for women to schedule their mammograms, especially if you're over the age of 40 or if you have a family history of breast cancer. Stable Mabel.
Stable Mabel.
Keep it going. Love it. Thank you, Christina.
We're here for you. Still to come at 4, despite the pandemic, or maybe because of it, there are quite a few new movies and streaming shows just out.
Some of them are worth your time, and Will says some are worth skipping. Film critic Will Loper will join us next with his picks and pans.
1968 Democratic National.
With one of our favorite Portage families here at the Portage Furniture Store, the Ayers family, that has grown a little bit since, yeah, he says high five. That's right. Since the last time we were here.
We sure have. Austin and I, proud 3rd generation owners, and now we're working on our 4th generation. We've seen generations of customers come through, and I think we take a lot of joy in seeing, hey, my parents bought from your dad, or bought from your uncles, or bought from your grandpa, and now Austin and I get to enjoy that ourselves.
How much fun is it on the days you come back into town and the 3 of you are together?
It's very special. Like I said, the longevity from my dad and uncle started in 1940 to now. Very special.
We're very, very proud to showcase predominantly American-made brands and companies that we've worked with for a very long time. We have a number of great lines, including Serta Mattresses, Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, and England.
And not everyone has the Ayers last name, but everybody here, I know you guys consider family.
Yeah, we really have some wonderful people here, including, 2 salespeople, Rosie and Punky, who have been here with us from the very beginning, and we're really thankful for them.
Yeah, they really make you guys, they're the ones who make you all look good.
Yeah, they are.
No doubt.
And we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, well, he said it. Right? What are some of the biggest things that sets you guys apart?
The free delivery. Yeah.
They still got it. I was wondering.
We do.
Glad to hear it.
And on top of a first-class free delivery service, we're very proud of our huge selection of top-name brand furniture at guaranteed low prices.
Well, with the free delivery, we've got a lot of stops, but I'm glad you're helping me. From the Portage Furniture Store, I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison. He's excited.
He's our independent voice who answers to no one but us, Todd Novak. Todd Novak is working across the aisle, passing the bipartisan COVID-19 relief bill, helping hospitals and communities get the resources needed to fight the coronavirus. Todd Novak is helping families, small businesses, and farmers as we work to rebuild the economy safely. And Todd Novak led the bipartisan effort to make sure our water is clean and safe for future generations. Our voice, Todd Novak for State Assembly.
Democrats enabled riots across America, even in small towns.
So we just have officers that can only monitor. They can't do anything about it. But officers can to get
out of here, okay?
Ma'am, are they actually sitting on or standing on your car right now?
On my car. And I got a little girl in the car crying. Are you kidding me? This is insane.
Let the police do their jobs. On November 3rd, vote Trump. Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Traffic looks nice and smooth right now. A lot of green, always a good thing when we're looking at our traffic maps. The Beltline, we aren't seeing any major delays. Downtown Madison looks good right now. Cloudy outside, so probably don't need the shades as you're hopping on the interstate. Now from Janesville to the Beltline, 26 minutes, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and Sun Prairie to downtown, still a quick 9-minute drive. That's a quick look at traffic.
Thank you. A new stadium slackline world record has been set in Nuremberg, Germany. Jans Decky crossed the Max Morlock Stadium at a height of 230 feet. Decky walked across the slack line from floodlight pole to floodlight pole for a distance of 755 feet and breaks the world record for the longest high line in a stadium. Decky says the most difficult thing about this is keeping your concentration.
It's a good thing you're reading, Mark, because if you...
I saw the video.
You're really scared of heights.
This is terrible. This is like the worst nightmare I could ever imagine.
I mean, it's not going up and down like that, is it? That's just the way the video is shot,
No,
right?
no.
Oh, he is going up and down like that.
All right, plenty of new movies. Get out. Plenty of new movies and TV shows have hit theaters and streaming services.
Our Will Loper has a rundown of what to watch and what not to see in this week's Loper Report.
Hey, Mark and Susan. Well, the box office this weekend was taken by Liam Neeson in his new film, Honest Thief.
Agent Evans, I'm coming for you.
The film was #1 with $3.7 million, taking down poor De Niro in The War with Grandpa.
Knowing how to blow stuff up, that's pretty cool.
But available to rent from home on video on demand is one of the best movies of 2020 so far, Kajillionaire.
Most people want to be kajillionaires. That's the dream. That's how they get you hooked. Hooked on sugar, hooked on caffeine. Ha ha ha, cry, cry, cry. Me, I prefer to just skim.
So do I.
Miranda July writes and directs the quirky comedy about two parents and their adult child who grift, steal, and con to get by.
They are real characters, super unique. But you vouch for them, right?
She learned to forge before she learned to write. No, actually, that's how she did learn to write.
What starts out quirky evolves into something deeper and more touching, dealing with the importance of human connection. Kajillionaire can be rented on VOD platforms for $19.99 and is well worth watching.
We can only ever be how we are.
Also new to VOD is the film The Devil Has a Name.
For every gallon of crude oil sucked from this earth comes 15 gallons of water. No good to any living thing.
What's wrong with it?
Besides the fact that it's radioactive.
The film tells the story about an oil company polluting water and the one farmer who refuses to settle and takes them to court.
The net present value rule states, if you make more money doing it than what it would cost if you get caught doing it, continue doing it.
The cast is fantastic, but the characters can be a little one-dimensional, with everyone who works for the oil company especially feeling like bad guy caricatures, just one step away from sprouting long, twirly mustaches. It's available to rent for $5.99, but it's not a must-see. You can wait until it's available on a streaming service. Speaking of streaming services, over on Netflix, Aaron Sorkin's new film, The Trial of the Chicago 7, landed.
We watched for a decade while these rebels without a job tell us how to prosecute a war. Because they're going to spend their 30s in a federal facility.
The film tells the true life story of 8 people who were charged with conspiracy to incite riots in the 1968 Democratic National Convention.
The riots were started by the Chicago Police Department. Sustained. Nobody objected. Jurors 6 and 11, they're with us. Juror number 6 and juror number 11, you're dismissed from this jury. Can you tell us why? Because this is my courtroom.
The film is entertaining from start to finish with plenty of crackling courtroom drama, and Oscar buzz has begun to surround the film, which is well worth checking out. And coming out this Friday on Apple TV Plus is the film On the Rocks.
So Dean's going away a lot, huh? On business trips?
Dad.
Raise your hand if that sounds fishy.
He's not like you. He's a good guy, a great dad.
Rashida Jones stars as a woman who suspects her husband may be cheating, and Bill Murray plays her father, who joins her on her journey.
Maybe he's just not interested in me anymore.
Impossible. A woman is at her most beautiful between the ages of 35 and 39.
Great. So I have many months left.
The plot runs a little thin, but is well worth watching to see the interplay between Bill and Rashida alone. On the Rocks premieres this Friday on Apple TV Plus. And this is one of Bill Murray's best performances in years, one he can really be proud of, unlike, well...
I was never a very good practical joker.
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper, sending it back to you, Mark and Susan.
Lots of variety. Yeah. Thanks, Will. We'll be right back.
Joe Biden will make health care affordable. His plan gives a tax credit to help working families pay insurance premiums, lowers prescription costs by 60%, and protects coverage for pre-existing conditions, no matter what. He'll pay for it by getting rid of Donald Trump's tax cuts for the super rich, because Joe knows our economy's strength doesn't come from the top. It comes from working families, and that's who he's fighting for every day.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Have some home projects on your list? Whether it's a fix now or fix up down the road, count on Home Advisor's trusted local pros to get the job done right. It's easy to schedule, check prices, and pay for all your home projects. So get the Home Advisor app and we'll do everything to fix your everything.
When Joe Biden wants an update on the virus, he calls on the nation's top health experts. Working together for all Americans is what Joe does. When writing his healthcare plan, Joe Biden worked with both doctors and patients to make healthcare affordable by lowering premiums, reducing drug costs, and protecting people with pre-existing conditions. Joe listened to both small business owners and workers to create his economic plan that cuts taxes for middle-class families, creates 18 million new jobs in his first term, and raises wages by as much as $15,000 a year. Joe Biden's plans will help working families immediately by making the super rich finally pay their fair share. For Joe, it's never been about ego. It's always been about the work he can do for working families. It's what he's always done. Joe Biden brings everyone to the table and gets it done.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Cloudy and chilly and a little drizzly for this evening, but we'll have more on that coming up right after the break.